The road should not have been there. I had walked that forest path since childhood, a narrow track between cedar and wet stone, always ending at the river bend before night swallowed hills. But that evening, the trail continued. The air carried the smell of rain, though the sky was clear. No insects, no wind, only the slow sound of water. Somewhere ahead, where no water existed, I followed, not from courage, from recognition. The trees were wrong. They grew too evenly, spaced like pillars in an abandoned hall. Their bark was pale, almost smooth, and when I passed between them, my footsteps did not echo back to me. The ground was soft as ash. I looked behind once my tracks had already faded. The sound of water became the sound of breathing. Long. Patient, close to the earth. I stopped. It stopped. Walked again. It followed beneath me. The path opened into a clearing that should have held rock and moss. Instead, there stood a house older than the forest itself, not ruined, not broken, simply left. The door was open, the width of a hand. Warm light moved inside, but it did not flicker like fire. It pulsed, slow and steady, like something resting. I remember thinking someone had been waiting longer than I had been alive. Inside, the air held the smell of wet cloth and river mud. The floorboards were damp. Each step released a quiet sigh from the wood, as though relieved by weight. The breathing was louder. Here, not around me, below. I noticed then the bowls placed along the walls, dozens of them, each filled to the brim with perfectly still water. No dust disturbed their surface, no ripple yet. The sound beneath the floor rose and fell with them. I leaned closer to one. My reflection was there, but it blinked after I did. I stepped back. The bowls trembled at once. From beneath the house came the sound of something turning in sleep, vast, slow, the way earth shifts before a landslide. The water in every bowl tilted toward the center of the room, toward a square hatch in the floor I had not seen before. It opened on its own, not upward, inward. Darkness inside did not swallow the light. It pressed upward against it. The breathing stopped for the first time. The forest made a sound. All trees creaked together like ships tightening their ropes. Then I heard footsteps behind me, bare feet on damp wood. I did not turn because the bowls were no longer reflecting the room. They reflected a shoreline at night, and something was standing in the water behind me, waiting for me to notice. So I left without looking, walked until the trees became familiar again and the river bend returned to its proper place. At dawn, I went back with others. There was no path beyond the bend, no clearing, no house, but the soles of my feet were still wet, and fine gray silt kept falling from them long after the ground around us had dried. Sometimes, when I passed the river at dusk, the surface remains perfectly still even when wind bends the reeds, and the water rises slightly, as if something beneath it is adjusting its breath to mine.
If you liked this story, please like and subscribe to stay updated for future updates. Have a good sleep.